First of all, y'all, I'm gonna let y'all know I'm a vegetarian, a vegan vegetarian. So we always have fruits, and we have fruit gnats. So if y'all see me waving, my house is not dirty. I'm not a nasty person. Anybody that been here know what's good.
It's a celebration, girl, just know who you are. Can't nobody stop you, baby, you're a star. Everything you've been through, girl, it made you who you are. Keep what you shine, baby girl, you're a star.
Welcome back to Tap In with TK, episode 3. We still doing this thing. Thank you so much for tuning back in. I told y'all my sisters. So this is how I talk to my blood sisters. This is how I talk to my adopted sisters. This is how I talk to my friend sisters. I keep it real with them, and I'm keeping it real with you, period. So I wanted to let y'all know they were gnats. But welcome back to Tap In with TK, episode 3. I have my phone with me because I wrote down some notes. I wanted to be very detailed in this video. Shout out to all the ladies that inboxed me, that let me know you're watching. I love you. Thank you so much for letting me know you are tuning in. Y'all, when somebody puts their neck out or somebody, let me tell y'all something about me. If you follow me on Facebook and you follow me on Instagram, you see I'm posting all the time. I freestyles, I'm posting scriptures, I'm posting inspirational videos. I'm always on there making statuses. I stay on your timeline, right? I want y'all to know that just because y'all see that does not mean that I am an extrovert, because I am an introvert. I remember my first lady, we were in our wives group, asked, what would you be if you weren't what you are? And I told her I would like live in the wild with like animals and like, you know, walk around barefoot, eating fruits off the tree. Like, I want to be off the grid. You feel me? Like, I don't, this is not me. But one thing about God is that he'll have you operating in something that you have to have him. Like, I can't do this without him. I say that to say, when you tell me you're watching this and when you tell me you're tuning in, that isn't something that is like, oh, you're stroking my ego and you telling me something I already know. That's something that I appreciate. That is confirmation. It's affirmation, and everyone seeks that. Today we're talking about femininity and submission, and I wanted to get my phone because I wanted to have some bullet points and some key points instead of only solely focusing on my opinion. I wanted to have a little bit of tiny bit of facts, okay? Now, I had this conversation with a friend of mine, and it was so beautiful. She'll know who she is as soon as she hears the conversation I'm talking about. But she said, TK, you're so feminine. Like, I used to think femininity was clothes and lip gloss and keeping my lashes done and keeping my eyebrows done. But I realized that I was feminine on the outside, yet I was carrying a masculine energy. And I said, ooh, you know how you frown up at a good, well, y'all know I'm a rapper, so I be frowning up at good bars. You be like, ugh, how do you think about that? Like, why your brain work? Like, it's so impressive. And it was so impressive how she said it, but it was also impressive how humble and how meek she was in that moment to be able to admit that. Because I believe that all of us have. I know I have. I know I've operated in masculine energy, while I was dating it, and even in my marriage, especially in the beginning. And when I was operating in this masculine energy, it was when me and my husband had the most issues, when we argued the most, when we disagreed the most. And that was because I was operating in something I was not created to be operating in. Now, sis, I know everybody that watch me ain't a Christian. I know some of y'all believe in other things, and you're like, oh no, you can't operate in masculine energy and feminine energy. You can be a boss and you can be a woman. I don't know why we detach being a boss just because you're soft and kind. You can be a boss, you can run businesses, you can make things happen and still be feminine and still be soft, still even be soft-spoken. You know, and carry meekness and this gentleness about it. It doesn't mean that you're not a boss because you're not operating in masculine energy. And I get it. The world that we operate in will try its best to push you to that. Once again, I'm a Christian hip hop artist. The industry is mainly all men. Women just started coming in. There's 2 women that are pretty prominent right now, which is Wande and Portia. But before them, it was nobody. And you talking about concerts full of men, and you talking about having to not smile because they gonna think you flirting with them, or not do this. I get it. Been there a billion times. Nicki Minaj had an interview in her documentary where she was talking about, like, now if I stand up, I'm created a bitch, you know, but a man can stand up for himself and he's a boss, and I get it. That is the world that we operate in. But if you are a believer, if you are a follower of Jesus Christ, whatever is yours, and you don't have to step in any energy outside of what God has created for you to be in to get yours. It's tempting to operate in that energy because they'll force you to. They really will if you allow them to. And so I wanted to look up the traits of femininity. What does that look like? It says traits such as nurturance. And that already got me. That already got me, because I think of, you know, in a sense, all women, I believe, are mothers. Whether you have biological children or not, you just have that. You know, you have a womb. The Lord has created us a certain way to feel certain things and become mothers. And especially if you're a mother, I thought about that word nurture. I asked myself, am I nurturing my environments? Not even just people, not even just my children, but my environment. Am I planting seeds of life with my words? Am I planting seeds and reaping the harvest of love and gentleness and all that stuff? So that took me out immediately, y'all. Are you a nurturer, sis? Sensitivity, sweetness. Are you sweet or are you a little mean? You got a little mean spirit? Supportiveness, gentleness, warmth, passivity, cooperativeness, submissive, expressiveness, modesty, humility, empathy, affection, tenderness, and being emotionally kind, helpful, devoted, and understanding. Every time I read something, I'm simultaneously asking myself, am I these things? And I want you to ask yourself, are you a nurturer? Or do you speak words of death? What have you built? What have you created? What have you fed? Sensitivity, sweetness, are you kind or are you hard? Submissive, expressiveness, modesty, humility. Are you embracing these traits that are already there? They're there, sis. You just got to tap in. You cannot be submissive until you fully embrace your femininity. And I want to say that for myself, though, because it might be different. People will disagree. But for me, being a married woman, I was not able to fully be submissive to my husband until I fully tapped into my femininity and who I am as a woman in God. What is the woman's role? What is the man's role? And no, I'm not talking about the man taking out the trash and the woman cooking. I'm talking about purpose in life, purpose in the earth, things that one can do that the other simply can't. Femininity that a man cannot. Yeah, they can try. Yeah, a man can try to be feminine. Yeah, a woman can step into a masculine energy, but it's not who you created to be. And so I believe that when I started softening up myself, being quiet a little bit more. I know I don't gotta be quiet. I can say my point. I can. Yes, but it's really good to listen too. It's actually really dope to sit back and hear other people. It's actually really dope to sit back and observe and listen and hear people's hearts. Everybody don't have to hear your opinion all the time, especially if you're married and your husband wants you to listen to him. Your husband wants you to sit back and sometimes just agree without saying, sometimes he wants you just to agree. And if he's wrong, y'all got God in the middle. Talk to God and God will get him right, period. If that's a man of God and he talks to the Lord. I remember my husband said, he was like, I don't even be telling you to do stuff half the time. Like, I don't even request too much. I go to the Lord and I say, hey, I want my wife to start doing this, to start being this, to start speaking like this to me. And when you go in prayer, the Lord convicts you. Oh, look at the power of God. If y'all don't think that's good, I was talking to another young lady about relationships, and I'm like, listen, there's this thing on TikTok and Instagram. It's like, if you don't want me to talk about God, don't ask my advice. Don't ask my opinion. TK without God, angry, daggone temper, masculine, a sharp tongue. Boy, murder people out here. People are dead right now, because of my words, and that's not dope. But outside of God, the person that you even asking for advice would not exist. So I got to talk about God. But he always says, when I need something from you, I don't even be telling you half the time. I just go to God, Lord, can you tell her to be nicer to me? And then I go in prayer and I'm like, God, I'm sorry for disrespecting him today, God. And then I'm going in the bed. Baby, I want to let you know, God, man, you are a phenomenal husband. And it's something beautiful about that. It is something so relaxing, weight off of your shoulders when you step into femininity, when you step into submissiveness, not even with just your husband, but God and leadership as well. I'll get into that in another video. A lot of times we're carrying things that we just simply don't have to. And that is what a masculine energy will do. It'll have you carrying around stuff that's not yours. You ain't got to carry around that anger. That's not yours. Get that to God, leave that at that throne, and pick up your joy. Masculine energy will have you holding on to pride, to ego, to mistakes, have you bitter, have you mad. Let that stuff go. Learn the position and the power of being a woman and the power of femininity and submission. What I just said, my point came right after. I didn't even plan that. There's power in letting go of that weight. Masculine energy is just a defensive mechanism. It's just a protective mechanism. It's to protect us from the things that we've experienced before, things not being accomplished, things not getting done, being mistreated, being overlooked. That is all that is. But when you step into divine femininity and divine submission under God, you can let that go. You don't have that weight anymore. I don't have to walk in the room and grab this imaginary beard. Anything that comes up against me, God has already planned a way of an escape for me. Anything that's mine, I don't have to go in a room and bark for nothing. It's gonna come to me. So I guess then the question would be, why are we masculine? I gotta get my phone for this. One, raised by a single mom who was also masculine and was the dominant person in the home. So all you saw was your mama making it happen. All you saw was your mama do that. So now you work 80 hours a week because your mama did. And not saying that's bad, but I'm just saying you have subconsciously become her and you've operated in the same unhealthy masculine energy because that is all you saw. It's not your fault, but it's all you saw. That you couldn't have controlled that. That was your environment. Number two, no father. Or you had a passive one. No father, so you don't even know when you get in a relationship and a man begins to suggest things to you like, you ain't supposed to tell me what to do. You get offended because you've never seen a healthy man operating in healthy masculine energy. Or you have a passive father, which is dang near not like, kind of like not having one because he's allowing your mama to run everything. And so you see a weak man and you see a dominant woman. So once again, sometimes if you see your mama operating in that, it's crazy. You can date the same people your mama dated. I always say I married my father in a sense. That sounds yucky, but so many traits my husband have that my father has that I'm grateful for. The traits that he took, I'm grateful for, which is a provider, which is trustworthy, honest. It has an integrity, these different type of things. My father is very gentle. Namdi is very gentle. My father is very dependable, will stick out his neck for anybody. Husband, the same exact way. Your situation might be your father was passive and your mom ran over him, or you just saw your mother dating certain guys that wasn't healthy, and now you're dating an unhealthy man and you have to operate in masculine energy because you're not even with the right dude and he's operating in feminine energy, and it's just a screwed up situation. Number three, failed relationships. Failed relationships, sis, more than anything will have you operating in masculine energy. It'll have you not trusting a man. It'll have you not trusting his word because you've seen it not come through time and time again. So I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna get it done. I'm gonna come through. I can depend on me, myself, and I. Failed relationships will absolutely have you operating in an unhealthy masculine energy. Or your husband is passive. Your husband isn't stepping up to the plate, so you feel like you have to. And I want to encourage you, if that's you, your husband's passive and you feel like you have to step up. I have learned that the more that I step back, the more my husband steps up. I don't have to decrease in who I am. All I had to do was tap into who I was created to be. Sometimes we be doing too much. Like, I know that's not deep, but sometimes we just be doing too much. Sometimes we just need to set sit down and be quiet and learn ourselves and grow in God and allow God to do the daggone thing. Like, we be trying to make stuff happen, and that's just not what we were created for. We have a master and a king and a father for a reason. So now you're watching this, and I don't know, maybe you never knew that you were operating in masculine energy, or maybe you have been desiring to be more gentle, more soft, more kind, more submissive to your husband if you're married, or maybe you've been desiring to tap fully into your femininity. And to a degree, femininity could be for you, it could be taking care of yourself. I talk about skincare all the time and my regimen. That has made me feel sexy and soft and feminine. It's not a physical thing, because you don't have to have that to be feminine, but it's something about that. It's something about getting in the bathtub and lighting up candles and really having that moment to yourself and connecting with yourself. It's something feminine and soft about that. It's something divine about that, especially if you use that moment to listen to worship and talk to God. A lot of times I watch sermons while I'm in the tub, or I'll pray, I'll play worship music. And it's something divine about that. And when I tapped into that and I started stepping in my femininity traits and I started stepping into submission under my husband simultaneously started stepping up, started making decisions, started correcting me, criticizing me in a healthy way. And I'm like, boy, you said you know, like it's something sexy about being who you are supposed to be. It's something sexy about embracing who God has fully called you to be and stepping into the divine woman that you are, that allows the man in your life, that allows your husband to feel the room to be who he's supposed to be. Because sometimes he's so clouded with our words of judgment. You ain't doing enough. You ain't doing this. You were supposed to blah, 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 and it shrinks him. But sis, you probably the one that need to shrink. And if y'all disagree and you a Christian, read the Bible. Less of me, more of you. I decrease so you increase. And so I pray that you begin to unlearn these masculine. I pray that you begin to identify these masculine traits that you might be having. I pray that you begin to identify areas that you're trying to have a grip on that you really need to let go of and allow the Lord to get a grip on. Allow the Lord to change you for the better, so that if you're single, you can meet that man that will operate in a healthy masculine energy. And if you're married right now and you're dealing with an unbalanced energy in your home, that he'll be able to do that. But sometimes, sis, let me tell you something. Sometimes it starts with you. So I pray this encourages you. This is a little bit of a longer video, but it's something I'm passionate about. It really is. Being all that God has created me to be on all levels. Being healthy physically, healthy mentally, healthy emotionally, being healthy in my marriage. If my home ain't right, it don't matter what I'm doing on this camera with y'all, God ain't gonna bless it. So work on yourself so that everything you touch, the word nurturer, nurturing, begin to nurture yourself so that you can nurture others. I pray that you guys enjoyed this video. I love y'all so much. Comment below. Let's chat. If you agree, disagree, whatever it might be. And I pray that more than anything, my videos encourage you to be all that God has called you to be. I love y'all so daggone much. And I pray that we're going to all grow together and we're going to exceed what we ever thought we could be. Love y'all.